Good morning, students. This is the second revision video of the chapter Nationalism in India. And in this video, we'll discuss more about civil disobedience movement. We'll try to analyze the impact of civil disobedience movement on freedom struggle. And thereafter, we'll try to understand the limitations of civil disobedience movement. And at last, we'll analyze why this movement could not become much successful, despite the full efforts taken by Mahatma Gandhi and other leaders. So let us discuss this topic in detail. Lord Irwin, who was the viceroy in 1930, he suggested round table conference, and he focused on the status or the goal of dominion status. He told that once the CDM will be end, the Indians will get the chance to make their future constitution, as well as they will get the dominion status. But the future was not very specified, or the date was not very specified, that on which date they will be granted this thing. After Gandhi-Irwin Pact, the Congress on its part agreed to discontinue the CDM and also participate in the second round table conference to be held in London. We need to understand here that the two important events took place during CDM. One was the Gandhi-Irwin Pact and another was the second round table conference. When Gandhiji and Lord Irwin both realized that time has come to go with some conclusion, to go with some pact or agreement, finally they sat together and an agreement was signed between Gandhiji and Lord Irwin. This agreement is known as the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. And through this agreement, both sides became ready to accept the demands of each other. Gandhiji became ready to stop the civil disobedience movement and to go to attend the second round table conference as the representative of Congress. On the other hand, Lord Irwin also accepted the abolition of salt tax as well as to release the political prisoners from the jail. So both sides agreed through the CDM. The most important outcome was that the CDM movement suddenly stopped because of the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. So this was again done by Gandhiji through this pact. That movement stopped. At the second round table conference, when Gandhi reached there, and finally Gandhiji returned empty-handed. Why? Because Gandhiji basic question regarding the freedom or regarding the importance of future constitution was not accepted, or Gandhiji returned empty-handed hopelessly. We'll also discuss that what was the reason later on in the limitation part, but we need to understand here that this movement, the movement CDM, was launched for the second time when Gandhiji returned back. So this gives us an impression that this movement continued for two times. First of all, it was started with the Dandi March and it stopped in between because of the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. But again, after the second round table conference, this movement continued, this movement restarted. So this is how we can say that this was the first mass movement that was restarted, or that was started for the two times. First it was stopped and after that it was restarted. So we need to understand the importance of CDM movement here. We need to understand the importance of Gandhi Pact. So from the beginning what we saw that through the abolition of salt, through the abolition of salt march, finally through the Dandi March, finally salt law was abolished, and after that we came to understand that how Gandhiji disobeyed all the laws, all the important act that was made by the Britishers of that time. Gandhiji told Indians to disobey the laws, and that is why laws were disobeyed, and this started with the CDM movement. So Dandi March was termed as the beginning of the CDM movement. Now let us discuss the impact. Some positive impact was there. So we need to understand what was the positive impact of CDM movement. The first impact was that the number of participants was much more in the CDM as compared to the NCM, that was non-cooperation movement. More than 3 times the number of satyagrahis went to jail. So here in terms of strength, the CDM was quite successful because more number of participants, more number of people, individual, they participated in this movement, and this created a grand success for that movement of that time. Second point is here that foreign import of cloth and cigarettes fell down by half. Government income from land revenue and liquor excise also took a hit. We need to understand here that when this movement started. At the same time, boycott was also started. People refused to accept to buy or purchase the foreign goods, and they neglected all the foreign goods available at the time. So this is why the foreign government or the British government, it suffered a lot. Finally, the foreign import declined by half. So this was the economic hit that was given by Indians to the Britishers. Now, third point was that in terms of participation of ordinary classes, so movement saw the participation of poor and illiterate people on a large scale, who also unhesitantly went to jail for the just cause. We need to understand here this movement removed any barrier that was there between the rich class or poor class. Here, poor people as well as illiterate people participated on a wide scale. They became ready because they realized the importance of the struggle. They realized the importance of the freedom. And this is why even the illiterate or poor person became ready to go to jail without any problem. So this, all the three events, all the three important points shows that this movement was quite successful, because in terms of strength, in terms of economic hit, or in terms of participation of poor people, this movement was quite successful. It created lot of positive things among the strugglers, among the people who were struggling for the freedom. Now, let us discuss about the next point here. It is mentioned about what was the condition of women. So, women and students participated in the movement on a large scale, and it was a liberating experience for Indian women who entered the public space in such large number for the first time. Now, what about the women class? They participated on a wide scale for the first time. NCM was started with the least number of women participants, but in CDM the number of women participants was quite large, and it was the first time because the matter was related to the salt. First of all, the matter that was associated, Gandhiji took the matter that was associated with the salt, and salt was the common ingredient in every house. That is why women came outside and they raised their voice against such laws. So that is why women got participation, or they entered in the CDM movement and they participated on a wide scale, and this clearly marked the participation of all the different segments of society in the CDM movement. So why CDM movement came to be known as the wide scale movement or mass movement? Because it attracted groups from all the quarters of the country. All the segments of society participated in this movement, and this made this movement a quite success movement. So let us discuss some demerits also, some limitations also, because at last we found that this movement could not go on for a very long time and finally it was stopped. So let us discuss what were the limitations. We need to understand the limitations. If we are going to talk about success, we need to understand some limitations or drawbacks also. So in the CDM, some drawbacks were there, some limitations were there. Like first point is written here, the Dalits or the untouchable did not actively participate in the movement. They demanded reservation of seats, separate electorates. We need to understand here that why when Gandhiji participated in the second round table conference, B.R. Ambedkar demanded for separate electorate for the Dalits or the untouchables, and it was accepted by Britishers, and this created lot of disturbance in the mind of Gandhiji, because Gandhiji understood that here Britishers are going to divide us on the basis of caste. Before that, already India got divided, or people got divided on the basis of religion through the separate electorate. Now it was the plan of Britishers to separate Hindus through the separate electorate. So this was boycotted. This was finally not accepted by Gandhiji. Gandhiji returned empty-handed from the second roundtable conference. That is why it is written there that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar clashed with Gandhiji on this matter of separate electorate. Now we need to understand here that first of all, Dalit could not participate on a large number because Dalit was having their own expectation. So that is why they could not participate in this movement. They remained aloof from this movement. Now, what was the condition of Muslim? Muslim political organizations also kept away from this movement, because at the time the impression was given that now Congress party is more associated with the Hindu Mahasabha or Hindu political radical party. So that is why many Muslim political organizations, they also got separated from the movement and they could not participate in this movement. Now, last point is Congress seemed very visibly associated with the Hindu religious nationalist group, like I discussed here, that Hindu Mahasabha and other radical groups. So it gave a negative impression to other political organizations, to other religious group, and this is why the other political or other Muslim and other religious political group, they could not participate, or they didn't give their participation to this movement. So finally, because of lack of the participation of untouchables, the lack of participation of Muslims, this movement could not go on for a long time, and it became ultimately unsuccessful. at last. I mean to say, it was finally stopped. This movement could not attract independence of the country. So this is all about the limits of civil disobedience movement and impact of civil disobedience movement. Thank you so much.